Awesome. Hi. We'll wait. Did you just take a couple
Yeah,
of
wait for a few seconds.
to get people to come tune in.
I'll tell you when the first person's here.
What?
I'll tell you when the first person's here.
No worries.
There we go.
Oh, here we go. Okay, we are live. I have a little bit of time now before we go back to after sunset, so I figured I'd answer any questions that are coming in. So first of all, this is the makeup room where my hair and makeup gets done in the morning. It takes actually a long time. I get in at like 6:45, and then we're ready to film at 9, which is quite a long time. And then they do a touch up at noon, and then between sets. But happy to answer any questions. I know we got one question this morning on, if you are at the beginning of building a business, how do you know when you have a good idea? And so the real answer to that is you actually just have to start testing your idea early enough. So that means if you can build a prototype, if you can do a crowdfunding sale and kind of see what's happening, and if people want your product, that usually is the best indication that you should keep pursuing something. And that's not really expensive. I mean, usually that's like a couple $1,000s to make a prototype and then a couple $1,000s to make a video. Like, you should be spending as least of an amount of money as possible to test your idea.
Okay, so Michelle, you got a question?
Yes.
So what is the percentage of deals that actually go through on Dragon's Den?
Oh, that's a really good question. So I think overall the average is kind of between like 10 and 25%, depending on the deal and depending on the pitcher. All of the deals go into due diligence after, so we make sure that people weren't exaggerating or saying they had no competitors when they actually did. And then sometimes the pitchers fall off. Sometimes, the dragons aren't happy. But I mean, I have now well over a dozen deals from the show, and so quite a few from each season. But great question.
Perfect. So, how is it sitting next to Mr. Sunshine?
Oh, that's a good. Is that a question from Mr. Sunshine himself?
It is.
Oh my gosh, Vince. It's amazing sitting next to you. But Vince and I have another special bond, which is that our birthdays are one day apart. His is June 11th, mine is June 12th, which means we're both very rambunctious, very loud Geminis. Him a little bit more than me. But anyway, we're going to celebrate our birthdays together this year, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Give us the resting Jim face.
He's like, the rest of the crowd is going crazy, and everyone's like, bah! Jim's like, and then Sandy's just there with her phone. She's just there like that. I love Jim and Sandy both, and it's actually insane. Like, the Wall Street Journal has picked this up, and MSNBC has picked this up. Like, he is literally all over everywhere with resting Jim face. I actually want to see other people's best resting Jim face. Just like send me a photo reply and give me the resting Jim face.
Do you ever want to follow up with people after the show that you don't invest in?
Yeah, there's been a couple. I would always say that's like the one that got away. And I can remember a couple businesses that I followed up after, and I said, I'm not sure I made the right assessment on the show. And so I've gone back to them now.
A lot of them are just comments about you. So, looking good, boss lady.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
Come to Portugal. Are you planning on going to Portugal?
I would love to come to Portugal. I usually try and get to Europe at the end of August, so I'm looking for new destinations. I've been to Germany, London, Paris, Spain before, Italy a bunch, Greece I've been to, but not for a number of years, and then Croatia and Ukraine recently. So definitely looking for new European suggestions. What does the crowd think we should do this year in Europe?
So what's the most expensive deal you've ever done?
I've done a couple $1 million deals on the show, so there's been a couple of really good ones that have come from that are bigger and more mature businesses, and then we scale up really well. So Clearbank funded Hunt a Killer for $10,000 2 years ago, and then last year gave him $8 million in capital. So I've done some pretty big deals. With Clearbank, we did a deal with Nectar Sleep that was over $10 million, and so that's like the nice part of having a fund behind you, is that you can do definitely more investing in something's working. I know this is going to look ridiculous now, and so everyone's going to be like, okay, you're starting to look like a rooster. Don't worry, it calms down quite a bit.
Don't screenshot.
Don't screenshot. Well, this is the fun of it. So There's something about Mary.
So what has been your most memorable experience on the show?
One of the most memorable is when I was in my first season. They were like, oh, we're going to do this like fun experiential thing. And every year on the show, you'll see that there's like a dancing troupe or a show or something like that. And so this one, they made us put these suits on. Oh, no, get in front. They made us put these suits on. And I remember putting the suits on and being like, these are really thin. And then the pitchers just started like spraying paint at us, like these buckets of liquid paint. And they put so much work into our outfits, and they lint roll us all the time to make sure like the look is perfect for television. And I can feel the like paint seeping through these overalls and getting all of this expensive clothing so damaged. Anyway, so that was one of my most memorable experiences because I just couldn't. It was just a production error. They just didn't know that the coveralls weren't. This is quite a lot. That the coveralls were not thick enough. So I do remember that. Before my time, there was like a little bird that flew up all the way into the lights, and they had to stop the whole production of the show because of it. So there's always like a different and new adventure on Den.
Okay, next question. What's a good royalty percentage for deals?
It totally depends on your business. So if you have a high margin business, you can sustain probably up to about a 20% royalty. Above that, it's really, really hard in any business. But, if you're selling an educational product or a digital product, something that truly has 100% margin, like software, you can probably part with up to 20%. And then in e-commerce, it just totally depends on what your margins are and how much you can sustain. But I think royalty deals are great because founders can retain their equity, and so they get to build a company that's more valuable. I know that's not the best thing to say as a dragon, but yeah, no, those are good.
So how much of your decision process is from gut instinct?
I think you kind of train your gut. I'm going to keep working.
Yep, go ahead.
You're going to train your gut because what happens after a lot of deals is you get pattern recognition from what has worked, what hasn't worked. I mean, at Clearbank, we use an enormous amount of data to make decisions that I always use to verify. But I think a lot of it at this point becomes gut on who is trustworthy, who doesn't feel trustworthy, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay, so they'd love to know how you approach to do Dragon's Den.
See, they're calling us syndrome.
It's okay.
I ended up being profiled in a magazine, and then got called at work one day, and they're like, "Will you audition for the show?" And I did. That was like 5 years ago now. We're live. Let's Manjeet say hi.
Oh, hi.
We're on Instagram Live answering live questions. Manjeet and I switch off hair and makeup all the time, so we.
So this question can kind of be for both of you then.
Yeah.
So how are the pitches so far this year on the Den?
They're great. A lot of unique innovations.
Yeah, no, totally. I think every year, I don't know, you probably agree, they like get better and better. I think more people have watched the show, more people know answers to their questions, and so it's I think it gets better and better each year.
Okay, so how often do you get to go home to Alberta?
Probably I still go home 3 or 4 times a year, more often than I think. I was there just before we started filming, and then I was there Christmas, and I'll probably go back for the summer and go to the cottage, and then Christmas again.
Okay. If I have a product idea, where should I begin?
Are we good, Kat? I don't need to say good.
I'll see you. Okay. Don't, but the curls are good.
Girls good?
Yeah.
Yeah, the curls look good. Is this good?
Just trying to
Just
not sit down if I don't have to.
I know. Okay, so the question was, when it's product idea, where do you start? I think you always figure out the cheapest way to make a prototype and test it and see if people want it. And that doesn't mean doing a lot of market research, but it means seeing if people will buy it on crowdfunding campaign or something like that.
All right. Everyone wants to go to the set. Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you judged?
One more question. What's the best way to reduce churn rate for a subscription box business?
Oh, that's really a good question. It's really to make your options very, very easy. So when people can skip or they can customize boxes, that makes a huge difference in the churn of your business. Setting up your payments in a way that are really customer friendly. You just basically want to be doing anything that's letting you retain customers for longer. And so oftentimes that means that people are going to go away. And if you just make the process easy for them, the other thing you can do is sell boxes up front and discount them. And so if you sell 12 months, it's a lower rate than selling anything else. So that would be my advice there.
It was so cute.
Okay, last question. Last question. Can you scale your online business without just throwing more money at it?
Of course, creativity can do anything in a business. And so using referrals, using your own traffic, using the ability for people to share your product, you can definitely get started. Yep. Am I late?
We're all late.
Okay.
All right.
I gotta go. Sorry, Instagram Live.